What is up, y'all? So I was recently told I need to take up more space in my camera. So trying out that, trying to some new things, trying to make this a better experience for y'all. And today we are going to talk about, for our swim talk, it is care. Come on, care for your kids better. All right, now this came about because one of the parents I work with, she was didn't know if she was tripping or not about how her kids were being treated, right? And this is kind of something that I've observed as a coach. I think it should be a fireable offense if I'm being totally real with you. And that's just not treating all the kids like they matter. So we're just kind of, let's talk about what she was going through. Basically, there's the fast kids everybody cares about, and then as you move down the line, eventually you get to the island of broken toys, which may be, A-cut kids who are old, who are, at the end of time. So there's not really much that the typical coach thinks they can do for them. A-time swimmer is at least a quad A swimmer. They just need attention. And her kids have been basically thrown in this lane, right? They're A-time swimmers. And they're getting mistreated. Like, they're getting, sets during practices. Like, they are serious swimmers. Like, they want to be good. But they're in practices with, rec swimmers. You know what I mean? Like, the people who are just there to have fun. They're there in practice with, some kids who just never show up. So I was just trying to give her some advice on how to, and her kids, advice on how to make it through this and get the benefits you want, because you do need better training, right, if you're going to go fast. So just really trying to help her resolve this issue. And sorry, guys, I have astigmatism in this eye, so this one is it's football shaped, is what they told me. So it kind of, I have to be conscious of making sure my eyes are the same opening. So if you ever see me sometimes, it looks like one of this eye is almost closed. It's because it's open. It's just, and I'm almost blind in this eye too. So that's a whole nother story for another time. But anyway, if you ever see me doing crazy eyes or whatever, it's because I'm trying to be aware of it, especially since I can see myself. So, okay, anyway, that was a little detour. Let's get into this. Care for your kids better. Number one, all coaches need to be aware and take very seriously, very, very seriously. I think, how do I say this? If you could be sued for neglect, that's how much you should be taking care of somebody's kid, right? So the parent gives their kid to you, right, as a coach. I always take it serious to the point where it's when I take on somebody's kid, I'm taking on the responsibilities the parent has for their kid, right? If they're starving, right, I need to solve that problem, right? For whatever reason they didn't eat, Lord forbid something bad happens and I need to put my life on the line. That's what their parents would do. They've entrusted their kid to me. That's what I need to be willing to do. And I think the fact that there is an island of broken toys and there's kids being mistreated means you do not take this responsibility seriously, right? Because if you're not doing the bare minimum of just being aware of what's going on with your athletes who are not fast enough to be cared for, let's just call it that, how can someone trust you with their kid's life? You see what I mean? And I think a lot of coaches would be like, no, we have protocols. If something bad happens, we get all the kids out. We do X, Y, Z. No, I'm talking about the individual. The individual kid. Are you taking on, because each parent's going to have a little bit different. So you're going to have an amalgamation of what you consider is acceptable. But each individual kid, are you accepting that responsibility that the parent is giving to you? And, a big part of that is caring for the kid and giving them attention and wanting to see them do well. So, the fact that that happens, it just shows that, a lot of coaches are out here just collecting a check, or they're just focused on their fast only kids, when And it's so funny. Like people are so fake. Like you worship Eddie Reese as this great coach, but then when he says anybody can make fast kids fast or not mess up a fast kid, judge me by everybody else, right? But you don't take that seriously, right? Just to preserve your own ego or whatever. Like it's pathetic. So that's that first point. There's one more additional point, side point I want to make with that. Leaving the child in your protection. It'll come back to me. All right, so the second one, spread love, belief, and support to each individual kid. So once again, if you're not taking care of your smallest people, let's just say smallest because that's how you're viewing them, you coaches. You're looking at them like they're small individuals. You can't do anything to help you. So wrong. You know, I have BB swimmers that become AAA swimmers. So it's like, you just don't want to coach. You're lazy. But anyway, as a man, I'm going to say this. When I say support, so I forget who, it's a behavioral scientist. He talks about how men and women raise children different or protect their children differently, right? So this is a woman. I'm going to draw arrows, like bow and arrows, weapons. Okay, the woman wants to shield and protect the kid, right? This is the male, typically. All right, so I want you to observe something about this. Is one, they're facing inward. The kid's still facing the arrows, but the mom has turned her back to shield and protect the kid. So the kid never has to face, this is called reality, I guess, or the dangers of the world. Whereas down here, with the male experience, it's, I'm going to, like, you need to go figure out how to deal with this problem, and I've got your back. Right? I'm here to support you. Now, I'm not saying that they're wrong or right, but you know, you think about history, and it's like when the kid turns 13, he goes to start learning how to become a man. Like, you know, you think of the movie 300, right, where he goes and hunts the wolf. You can't learn how to hunt a wolf with the top one. Okay, so that's why I say support and love. So I'm gonna tell you all a story and belief. I believe you can handle this, but if you need help, I got your back. I had a boy. His name was Nate at my first coaching stop, and he would always show up to practice late. I think I may have talked about this in another video early on. And Nate, like, he was 11, I think. So I would have moved him up, but, you know, my boss was like, no. He was a flyer, right? So for me, personally, when I'm running, like, developmental groups, I look for, I don't even look for times, really. Obviously, you got to do them because parents will raise hell. But I look more for like training habits and mental habits, because times will come, right? And if you like, you could be the fastest kid, but you don't have the training or mental habits. Eventually, you're going to plateau, and now we got to have a conversation with your parents about why you're plateauing and how I was right. Like we should have never moved him up until he showed us that he actually knew how to do the work. Like it's just a disaster, right? It's unnecessary. And now somebody feels bad because now I'm putting the blame on somebody, even though as a coach I should be taking it on me. But I told you this would happen. Like it's just a disaster. So anyway, this kid Nate. He could swim fly, bro. He could go. And this is before I had the version 1 of my 12 and under club fundamentals with the seesaw and the, you know, if you're in the course, you know what I'm talking about. But basically, guys, I have a free, I'll put in the link below, a free fundamental and club butterfly or college needs butterfly. It allows you to train fly, you know, so you can go hunters fly in practice, 200s, you know, if you're that type of swimmer. But the version 1 was a little different, and this is in Round Rock, so the habits they had, the mental makeup of them was a lot different. Like the kids in between North Austin and Central and South Austin. Kids in North Austin are way more gritty. Way, it's not even close. But anyway, so when I start coaching in South Austin, I realized like, okay, whatever grit that my original version, I'm way off base. I'm sorry, guys. Original version had created does not translate to these other kids. So I made up a different version that I call the high conversion universal fundamental fly. And it does. If you have people struggling with fly, you jump in here, club fundamentals butterfly with the seesaw and the reaching up and the Y and the squeezing and the pushing out while the athlete's upright and then combining that with the seesaw, they're going to be able to some good fly. Like very, very good fly. Like what you would expect an 8-year-old trying to swim like Phelps to look like and then being able to actually sustain it. Like that's what it would look like. But anyway, this kid was like moving like that. And he could go like 50 flies, and we were only doing 25s and he just like run, like swim around everybody whenever we do fly sets. And it's like, when I'm thinking about moving kids up, it's like, can they do, like the instant ones for me are 4 IM and 2 fly. Because those are all toughness races. So, and if you can train right. But if you can race those, I'll take those because they're tough races. I know you have the mental makeup that we can work with. And then, like, you have to have, so I don't do any 50s because it's all about the training. Because if you can do the training, everything's going to fall into place. So it's like, if you want to be 100 speed demon, you need to have, let's see, 11, 12, you have the 100 IM, 4, so 5. I need 505 8 times. So, like, make it difficult. Like, you want to be this guy who just does the easy stuff. I need to take it seriously, right? I don't even think I had the 100 free in that category. I think I had the 2 free. So it may have been 3. No, it was 4. And the 2 free had to be one of them. And then it was 3 of the others. The next level was the 4 free, the 2 fly, it's the 4 free, the 2 breast, the 2 IM, the 2 back, and I needed 2 of them. And then the last event was 2 fly, mile, 2 fly, mile, what was the other one I said? 4 IM, right? Because obviously you're a miler, you can train, so. And it's all about group cohesiveness, right? So the people got to be able to train to keep the group on point. Otherwise, you have some people like, why does he get to go easy, right? And we don't need that for a bunch of 12-year-olds and teenagers, young teenagers. So I'm sorry I'm going way off base so much, guys. I feel like these details are important because, one, to kind of let you know about me, but 2, with Nate, one day he shows up, normally like 10 minutes late, like he always is. He comes from a private school across town, and he's just always quiet. Always quiet. And this goes kind of even to point 1 where the value of the child in your protection, right? And I say to Nate, Nate, I believe in you, man. And it used to make me cry or tear up. Nate just starts bawling, like crying in front of everybody, like on the deck. He just starts crying, and all the parents are like off to the side, like looking at me and him. And I'm just like, oh no, like the parents think I just said something to him. And this kid says to me, like, nobody's ever told me that. 11 years on earth, nobody's ever told him they believe in him. And that's what I'm saying, like, and I'm not blaming like parents or anything. One thing I realize even with my own family is, why would your kid not think they believe in you? Or you believe in them, right? Like, you don't need to say it. Of course, it's natural. Like, why do I need, like, of course I love you, right? But, they need to hear these things, right? Like, you need to be projecting how you feel into the world so they can feel it, right? You just thinking it, they don't get to feel it. These kids need to feel it. And they need to feel that you love them. They need to feel that you believe in them. They need to feel that you support them, right? Right? And that you're going to have their back no matter what happens. Like, this is me personally, I've gone through my brain to like, what is the boundary that has to be crossed for me to punch a coach on deck or punch an official on deck? Right? What's the boundary that kids have to go through where all bets are off and you've done something that I will trade in my rights and freedoms for because you mess with one of my kids? right? So I'm not saying you need to do that, but we definitely need to do a much better job of. And like I said, this kid was a 3-day-a-week kid, BB swimmer, 11. Should have been moved up because he wasn't doing any training. It was just technique stuff. Once he did training, he would have been a AA, AAA swimmer like that, you know? So it's not like he deserved to be treated poorly as far as being in a group he shouldn't have been in. He just wasn't in a group that made him look good to where people would have cared about him. And that goes into point 1 too, right? Where you got to take these kids who, like, he clearly wants to be there and he clearly wants to swim and fly. Like, that's a winner right there. That's a dub for our program. Get him going. You know, he's an asset to our program. So anyway, let's move to number 3. And this is a kind of interesting and a little complicated thing that I want not necessarily parents to think about, but because it's a feeling, right? But definitely coaches. Parents don't pay for swimming. They pay for the experience of love and attention that leads to success and internalized confidence through sports. Right now, obviously they have, you know, the parent ego where they want to have their kid be the hottest thing and the tension that comes with it. But like, they're paying for a team to be on a team, right? What they value and the thing that makes them like, yeah, like this is worth it, is when they see their kid happy because they dropped time. When they go home and tell you about how one of the big fast kids complimented them, right? When they say like, hey, the coach said that I'm the best one at this, right? Like that, when the parent sees their kid's joy, that, I remember what my point was from earlier that I forgot. When a parent see their kid's joy, like that's what they're paying for. The feeling that makes them feel like how they feel about seeing their kid beaming with life. Okay. Now, that's not what they pay for consciously, but that's what makes it worth it. So when you ask, what are they buying? They're not buying lane space. They're buying an experience, right? And that's what you should be providing, even though they don't know it. And I think a lot of coaches think these kids are just buying a group or lane space or hours. Like, no. Like me personally with Rakeley, I do not sell one-on-ones. That's what it's marketed as because I have to be able to communicate to my customer correctly. But I sell confidence. I sell achievement. I guarantee it as long as they'll do the work, right, and study and do those things. And then the self-competence about life, especially if it's an online one-on-one, right, or an in-person one, because then I can really breathe life into them. That comes from being successful, and how what they know literally is top, you know, Olympic level information, and they should feel proud that they know these secrets, right? Like that's what I sell. In a nutshell, though, I would say if you're just talking about, oh, swim coach, technique coach, I sell goal achievements. You want to swim in college, you want to swim in the Olympics, you want to make this meet cut, like that's what I sell. And the hours that they sign up for, the videos they submit, the videos I take and have them watch, those are things that allow me, like that's the bare minimum I need to deliver what I'm selling, right? So you don't think like, oh, I'm buying these features. Like, no, you're buying your kid's success. That sounds terrible a little bit, but you're buying tutelage for your kid to be successful and everything as a human being that comes with that. These are the tools I need to fulfill that promise. Okay, and the thing I forgot, so this kind of actually goes into all 3. When I started Rakeley, right? Now I've always been like this about like kids. Like it's a long story, but you know, I was bullied a little bit because I was just tall, black kid. You know, in the 90s, if you were a mathlete and you spoke well, you were not black. Right. So then I go try to hang out with white kids, but I'm black. So it's like, okay, well, where do I fit in? I don't. So I got a big time perspective on basically how the whole game is being played since I was like 8 or no, I'm in like 2nd grade. So I don't know how old that is. 7, 6 years old. I'm not even sure why that was important to say, but okay, I remember why. So I was saying that is why like I am the way I am. I've been this way my entire life, right? And about kids and bullies and sticking up for yourself and sticking up for others, you know, who are maybe not strong enough to stick up for themselves and trying to do the right thing. But when I started Rakely, some of y'all from the old swim days may remember Psycho Swim Dad. So he was a swim dad at Nitro Cedar Park. So I met with him, and I've known him for a long time. Or he's known of me for a long time. Like his kids swam summer league. Like I think when I was coaching there as a high school senior, before I went to college. And then obviously back then my name was on every record board. Like if you go to Round Rock High School, I want you to know only one person has the unified record book ever. The guy with 2 thumbs. Every record, except the 500 free, because that's not a real event. And I didn't know how to swim it, so that's why it's not a real event. But I had all the records, every single one of them. That never happened again. There's only one Dax Hill. But so Psycho Swim Dad, he was aware of me, right? So I'm starting this business, and he's owns his own business. So he's talking to me about like what parents buy, right? And this is kind of like where I was able to put these ideas into words, what he told me. I wish I had the notebook. I had a notebook where I took all the notes. Let me see, it might be this one. Or one of these two. No, it's not. So it's in storage. Sorry, guys. Okay. But anyway, essentially he was saying like, parents pay you because they want to know that you're taking care of their kid and you're giving them their attention and that you care about their success. Like, that was basically it. He said, if you can deliver on that, they'll pay you whatever you want. And obviously I'm not a dirtbag, so I deliver a service that's in line with my characteristics and my personality and what I want to achieve in the sport. But it was the fact that he didn't mention like the technique stuff or any of that. It's like, okay, like the most important thing, like it makes sense. This is why I'm saying you need to take this seriously, is their kid and their kid's experience and how they feel about their experience. Think about this. The kid comes home every day sulking because of swim practice. Your parent is going to get pissy eventually. Right? And especially if they ask why and they're like, yeah, coach didn't give me attention. Like, and you said something slick. That's another thing, guys. Everything that you say is going to get back to the parents. So if you say it, like, mean it, be ready to stand on it. But that even goes into the first two, which is you got to take yourself a little bit more seriously and your craft a lot more seriously. But like him telling me that, it was like, okay, I can do that. Like, if anything I do, I go all in. But then it's like, there's that coaching element, like interpersonal element too, where it's like, I want to help this person become a better, or set them up with the skill work, the emotional skill work and the maturity skill work and the interpersonal skill work to translate you're a fully capable person when you have the right information. And that the hardest thing that they'll ever do in life is find the right information. That's always the hard part. And showing them through Rakely that you're a fully capable person. Don't let anybody convince you that or convince you less. You just need to work hard to find the right information and then just execute it because you've proven that you're a G, right? So anyway, point 4 was Eddie Reese is saying anyone could not mess up a talented swimmer. A coach is measured by everybody else. I wish I had the direct quote. I always kind of paraphrase or remix it a little bit, but we're not going to obviously cover that because we already did. And the final one, big one, coaches taking advantage of parents. So this one's going to be for the parents. I might get some flack for this from coach. Oh, sorry guys. I might get some flack from this from coaches, but really, if we're talking and thinking about it, any coach that gives me flack from this is a dirtbag anyway, right? So here's secret number 1. If your athlete girls is a little different because they start maturing. Oh no, actually it's probably more true for girls because they mature earlier and that's their peak testosterone. So that's where they're always getting faster. So let's just say 14 and under for both, right? Guys is a little different, but they're always getting faster because they're always getting taller and stronger too. Is some coaches will take on younger swimmers, right, through private lessons, and it doesn't matter if they know their stuff or not because the kid's always getting faster. Okay? So, and that's honestly kind of what we do with Rakeley. Like, yeah, it's for the athletes, but it's also a parent education. So you can know, like, okay, this coach I know he's talking about. Like, if I'm a hooper and I have kids, like, I know what a good coach looks like because I know what, like, if my kid's a big man, I was a big man, I know what he needs to be learning, right? Now, I'm not going to go in there and interject, right? But I can tell who knows what, right? And another thing that's kind of funny is coaches got some balls, bro. Like, I don't know how you can, like, maybe it's my integrity, but I don't know how you can just like straight up, like, because you don't think your parents know swimming, that you can just like insult their intelligence and think they just don't have common sense. Like, that's wild to me, right? Like, the amount of parents that I'd say there was a healthy amount of parents back in like 23 that I was getting, and essentially this is what the parents were telling me. They were like, I can see the difference between what my kid is doing and what like the actual fast kids are doing, not only in their age group, but like as big kids. And they were like, my kid doesn't look nothing like that. And when they would go and bring it up to the coach was full of shit, essentially, like wouldn't give them a straight answer. And that's kind of the taking advantage of parents I'm talking about, where it's like, you think they don't know shit, so you're just gonna say whatever you want, or try and mumbo jumbo your way out of it because they can't tell if you're actually talking about what you know you should be talking about or not. And to me, that's one, it's weak of character, right? Two, you're weak as a competitor. Like, I don't get how we can be in this sport, especially the coaches, and we say all these things to these kids and then we don't live by them. Like, I don't understand. Like, always push yourself. Be more aggressive. Be like, think in practice. High five your teammates. Work on your technique. And then you're in practice, brain off, while your back kids who are too slow for you to care about have terrible technique. Like, what do you do? Like, you're a joke. So, anyway, that's the first way that coaches be taking advantage of parents. The second one is the good old 50s. Okay? And so you have, let's just say there's some plateauing going on, right? Oh, no, wait, let's not say 50s. Let's say the same stroke races. So you'll have a kid plateauing, like, let's just say their best stroke, right? Now, a coach with some cojones is going to figure out, we're going to figure out this because this is what you swim, and this is the actual challenge, right? But we tell these kids to face their challenges and learn from their mistakes and grow. Here's what a coach does, is they will take your kid and put them in a same event distance that they haven't swam in a while. So you can guarantee something positive. Usually it's a 50 because it's less, and usually most kids haven't swum 50 in forever. And because it's a 50, your kid's going to go all out. So they're going to split faster in their first 50 or in their single 50 than they will going all out than they will in their, excuse me guys, it's orange juices kicking my ass. Then they would split in their 100 race. You see what I'm saying? Or if it's a longer race, they can be like, okay, you see how you actually split the same thing or just a little slower? That means you have more energy in you. You're just not being confident about it, right? You can make up whatever excuse you want. And as a parent, especially if you don't know swimming, which, I have a course that teaches you that stuff, but even then, like, it's a lot to absorb. So let's just say pretend like without access to that, you have no chance of knowing if your coach is being real with you or not, other than your instincts. So same event, different distances. That's the second way. The third way coaches take advantage. Let me think about this one. I had a third one. It's left me. Oh man, I think it's left me, guys. There was a third one, and then there was a bonus 6th point, and I've forgotten both of them. That's annoying. Okay, I think I got it. The third way is fake coaching. Okay, so this pretty much just looks like showing up, maybe being enthusiastic, but the kid's not learning, right? And what I mean not learning is like somebody says like, hey, do your flip turn, get closer to the wall, but they don't teach them like how to get closer to the wall, how to measure the distance, how to land, how to push off, what muscles to flex, what muscles not to flex, whether to absorb the recoil or to jam that turn because you're extending into the wall. You know, you have a kid, there's a perfect example. You have a kid who is not as fast, who's doing, you know, a pretty hard set, but the coach isn't working them through what they're doing. For example, there was this girl, right? Her spatial awareness is off. I have her and, well, on this team, there was like 4 girls who were like this. And basically what I say their spatial awareness is off is their mental image of themselves in the water is not what occurs in the water. So with the boy I had, he doesn't do this anymore, but he would reach, like if he's swimming at the camera, he would reach, you would see his arm extend straight up. He thought he was next to his head in the water. But if you watch his video, he's like literally here and then here. And I asked him, I was like, do you think you're straightening your arm into the water? I showed him a video and he was like, every time, straight up. So I had to take his image, right? So if this is straight up and I had to shift it like this, right? So it's like, instead of you reaching straight up, I need you to reach, actually like lift your elbow up and just go straight down, right? Because if he's reaching straight up and I tell him to start reaching straight down, when I shift that, it's not straightforward, right? So anyway, these 3 girls, or 4 girls all suffered through this. So I would have to like coach them through like, hey, I need you to reach this direction. I need you to cross over. I need you to, and it's not necessarily that they're like I wanted them to actually cross over, but it's relative to their motor skill, right? Like the boy who's reaching up, when I say lift your elbow up and then reach straight down, relative to your motor skill of reaching straight up, I got to correct that, which is going to feel like reaching straight down. Because you went from here to here, that's a lot way down from here to here. So it needs to feel like that. And you actually be where you're going to need to be. It's a little hack for coaching kids who you're telling them do less, do less, do less. Like you got to be a lot more extreme, not even a little bit. Yeah, so that's the third way is, you know, you'll have somebody who's a good coach, but they're not actually coaching. They're a trainer. There we go. That's a good way to put it. I'm going to put one of my, so these are our bonuses. Now, hopefully I can remember the actual bonus, but bonus 1 is, you know, I had a parent ask me about a coach, and I said, I don't know anything about them, so I can't say if it's a good coach or a bad coach. Like I don't know anything about this person. But I just said, as an adult to adult, right? Me to him, me to this coach I don't know anything about. I said that I'm always worried when I see the credentials instead of the accomplishments, right? Because a lot of times what people do is, because I've been here and I've been a part of this, or I've been a part of this, it's like, you should listen to me, right? Which is like, oh, okay, you were there, but were you the bench warmer, right? Were you the water boy? Like, what were you really doing out there? Like, were you the bus driver or were you the passenger? And now you get to write on your resume that you accomplished these things. Like, I'll give you a perfect example in my life. I say 4-time NCAA champion all the time because I am. But I was not on the national championship roster that actually went and won the 16-man roster. But it was a team title. It's a team title. So you better believe I'm about to claim it. But that's a perfect example, right? Whereas, like, I think about Eddie. Eddie would always say, like, we had a guy and tell you a story about what they did. They came in, like, BVR, Ben Van Rokel, Longhorn success legend, okay? Ben Van Rokel came in, I think, like, too light. I think he's, like, 6'2", 6'3", probably, like, I think he came into college, like, 160 pounds, right? When he graduated as a senior, he was our fastest relay swimmer, 18.6 in 2010. Like, that's the guy I want to swim for, right? Not the guy who has all these credentials. I wanted the guy who has success and can tell me, like, okay, yeah, I had this guy, you know, he was light in the ass, no chance he's going to be anything, and he worked his way through our system and then became a major contributor to our national championship winning team. beautiful. And it still escapes me my bonus point, my original one. Oh man, this is gonna kill me. Oh God. Because it was important too. I mean, they're all important, but you always say the best for last. I wish I wrote it down. It kind of came to me, these 2 bonus points, like while I was talking. So maybe I should look at my list. Nope. I got nothing, guys. Sorry. Maybe I'll remember before I close all the way out. But if you enjoyed this, let me know what you think. When you, as parents, when you watch your practices, do you see your coaches caring for your kid in the way that you would, where they're taking on the responsibility of putting their life or the kid's life before their own, right? Is there that level of dedication? If they're not even paying attention to them, the answer is obviously no. Right? Are they taking it seriously, or are they just there coaching? Let me know. Do you think that the coaches need to spend more time supporting the individual person? And I don't mean like the swimmer. I mean like the emotional human being. Like I said with my story with Nate, telling him that I believe in him, and finding out he'd never been told that in his life. And being able to just use I don't even know how I'd word it, but putting that belief in a kid, right? But it takes some care. Like I said in point 1, parents, do you feel like obviously you're paying for swim team, right? But like, what are the valuable things that like you see that make it like, okay, like this is worth it, right? So that's why I would qualify it as you paid for swimming, but what are the things that you've seen with your kid that make you say this is worth it? Or maybe even the things you say that said, I need to get out of here, like, eject. And then what do you think about the 3 points I gave you with how coaches take advantage of parents, right? The same distance, different, or the same event, different distance. The coach who is a trainer, not necessarily a coach. I forget what the first one was. What do you think about those? Are you a victim of them? Have you been caught lacking because you didn't know, and I guess that's it, just got caught lacking because you didn't know? Let me know in the comments. Hit the like button, share, subscribe. Please hit the like button. It helps boost us in the algorithm. Even something as little as parents understanding those 3 ways that coaches can take advantage. Sorry, guys. Can take advantage of you. Like, that goes a long way. And these are things that everybody should know, so you can make sure that you are getting the experience for your kid that you pay for. So anyway, guys, like I said, like, subscribe, share, turn on the notification bells. I will catch you later. Peace.